Big Kid Boy in the building, and in this video, guys, we are going to be going over the top 50 current NBA players. Now, before we get things started, I do want to mention that we are excluding 3 players here today. We are excluding Victor Oladipo, John Wall, and Kristaps Porzingis due to injuries. Now, I do believe that they belong somewhere on this list, maybe top 10, top 20, but unfortunately, since they didn't actually get to play a full season, or any at all, we are going to have to exclude them. But getting that out of the way, let's hop right into the video. First things first, I had to show some love to Indiana by including Myles Turner. This man is a defensive machine, averaging 2.7 blocks per game and led the league with a total of 199 blocks this season. Even though he only averages 13.3 points per game, he is very efficient from the field, shooting 49% and 39% from beyond the arc. For me, I'm going to have to place Myles into the C tier. Very young, talented player. Can't wait to see how he improves his game. Next up, we have Danilo Gallinari. Now, honestly, I forgot this man existed, but he just averaged career highs in points, rebounds, field goal percentage, and three-point percentage this year for the Clippers. So, yeah, turns out this guy's actually pretty good. But Gallinari really isn't too good at passing or defense either, so we're going to have to put him on the D tier. Next up, we have Eric Bledsoe. Bledsoe right now is shooting a career-high 48% from the field, but he is down in scoring and only managed to average 75% from the free throw line. He just never really stood out to me this year because he kind of just took the backseat to Giannis. So unfortunately, we are going to have to rank Eric Bledsoe in the F tier, guys. Next up, we have a promising young rookie in DeAndre Ayton. He managed to average a double-double his first year in the NBA, 16.3 points per game and 10.3 rebounds, a very efficient field goal percentage at 58%, but I would like to see him improve more on the defensive end and stretch the floor a bit. And for that reason, we are going to put DeAndre Ayton in the D tier. After DeAndre Ayton, we have Chris Middleton. He did take a slight hit on the field goal percentage, dropping 2%. He currently is averaging 18.3 points per game, but he managed to space the floor more for Giannis, increasing his three-point percentage to 38%. Scoring was down because of Giannis as well, and his free throw percentage took a slight hit, dropping 5%. All in all, Chris Middleton is a really good role player, so we're going to go ahead and put him in the D tier as well. Next up for the tier ranking, we have Buddy Hield. He improved a ton this season, from 13.5 last year to 20 points per game this year. He is a great young player, and I cannot wait to see what he does in the future. So we are going to put Buddy Hield in the C tier. Coming up next, we have John Collins. Greatly improved his game from 10.5 last year to 19.5 points per game this year, almost averaged 10 rebounds a game, and he's got a really nice 3-ball to him, averaging 35%. Another great young star. I'm going to have to put him in the C tier. Next up, we have NIKOLA VUCEVIC. He took more shots this year while improving his field goal percentage to 52% and his 3-point percentage to 36%. He also managed to average a career high in points this year with 20 points per game. He's solid on the defensive end, but still has a bit of room for improvement. For me, Vucevic belongs in the B tier. He's far too good to be labeled as an average player, but he's not quite a superstar. Moving on to our next player, we have MCCOLLUM. Now, he seems to be on a consistent downward slope since 2016, averaging less points per game, lower percentages from behind the arc, and at the free throw line each year. But still, he's not a bad player by any means. He averaged 21 points per game this year, and is still a decent shooter from 3, averaging 37%. But other than that, MCCOLLUM does not really help on the defensive end, and for Portland, he's just the guy to shoot. So we're going to have to give MCCOLLUM an E. After McCollum, we have Julius Randle. Lakers, what the hell were you thinking? In each of these statistics, Randle improved, now averaging 21 points per game, 8.7 rebounds, shooting 34% from 3, and now 73% from the free throw line. Not a superstar, but still an efficient scorer and a very talented big man, so we're going to go ahead and put Julius Randle in the B tier. Next up, we have Jason Tatum. Now, under the right circumstances, I believe Tatum could have ranked higher on the list, but given that he is kind of just there with the Celtics, this is where he's going to stay for now. Yes, his field goal and 3-point percentage took a slight dip from 47 to 45% and 43 to 37%, but he did, however, average more points per game, going from 13.9 to 15.7. Being that he is kind of just an average sophomore in the NBA, I'm going to go ahead and put him in the E tier with CJ McCollum. After Jason Tatum, we have Ben Simmons. Now, so far, I'm not impressed with Simmons. Although he is efficient at the basket, he still cannot shoot. His free throw percentage is god-awful at 60%. Simmons is scoring just under 17 points per game and is still averaging 9 rebounds and 8 assists. But could you imagine a 6'10 point guard who can't shoot anywhere outside of 10 feet away from the basket? Yeah, sorry 76ers fans, but he's going in the F tier. Next up, we have DeAndre Jordan. Still one of the most consistent scorers in NBA history, DeAndre averaged 11 points per game this year and 13 rebounds a game. He also greatly improved his free throw percentage from 68% to 77%. He had himself a pretty decent year, a good option to have as a big man, but he can't stretch the floor, so we're going to have to put him in the E tier. After DeAndre Jordan, we have LaMarcus Aldridge. Aldridge continues to surprise everyone, staying on top of his game, averaging 21.3 points per game, 9.2 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks. Even though he's not doing so well from behind the arc, he averaged a career-high 52% from the field. LaMarcus Aldridge is a great talent. He's a solid power forward. I'm going to go ahead and put him in the B tier. Up next, we have Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker is one of the best scorers in the NBA and is very underrated in my opinion, due to the fact that he is on the Charlotte Hornets for the most part. This year, he averaged 25.6 points per game on 43% from the field and 35% from the three. Hopefully he either gets some help or leaves Charlotte because right now they are wasting his talent. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and put Kemba Walker in the A tier. After Kemba Walker, we have De'Aaron Fox. Sacramento is his team and he became a leader faster than many had expected. Fox is one of the best young talents in the NBA and has improved in every major statistic. 11.6 points to 17.3 points per game, 4.4 to 7.3 assists per game, 41% to 45% for field goal percentage, and 30 to 37% from 3. De'Aaron Fox is very talented. He will be very big in this league. I'm going to go ahead and put De'Aaron Fox in the B tier. Next up, we have Kyle Kuzma. This year, Kuzma went from being a decent three-point shooter to a bad three-point shooter. Despite that, he is still growing and improving, now averaging 18.7 points per game from last year's 16 points per game. Hopefully, he can become more consistent from behind the arc. But other than that, there's really not much I can knock about his game, so I'm going to go ahead and put Kuzma in the C tier. After Kuz, we have Tobias Harris. Tobias has slowly improved year after year and is currently averaging a career-high 20 points per game, 48% field goal, and 86% at the free throw line. Tobias also has stayed very consistent shooting the three ball, averaging 40% for the year. He's a great role player and does his job very well. We're going to put Tobias Harris in the B tier. Next up, we have Jamal Murray. Now averaging 18.2 points per game, Jamal shares the leadership role very well with Jokic. He could use a few more assists, but overall he's a very talented guard. If he continues to develop his game and improves where he is lacking, I think he could be one of the top 5 guards in the league. Let's hope he proves me right. That being said, we're going to put Jamal Murray in the B tier. Next up, we have Lou Williams. Lou Williams has been doing his thing over in Los Angeles, averaging 20 points per game off the bench. Definitely a strong candidate for 6th man of the year. Even though his minutes have declined, he still manages to impact each game, shooting 42% from the field and 36% from 3. Probably one of the best bench players we have in the NBA today, so we're going to put him in the C tier. Next up, we have Pascal Siakam. Definitely a pleasant surprise to see how well Siakam has been playing. He has become a threat all over the floor, shooting 55% from the field and now 37% from 3, while averaging 16.9 points per game. He even improved his free throw percentage to 78%, as well as his rebounding and assists per game. Pascal is a bright young star in the NBA, and I can't wait to see what he does next year, so we are going to put him in the A tier. After Pascal, we have Trae Young. Trae Young has full control over Atlanta, and with good reason. Averaging 19.1 points per game on 41% from the field and 32% from 3, he is sure to develop his game into being one of the most elite shooters in the NBA, and he does make a tough case of Rookie of the Year against Luka Doncic. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and put Trae Young in the C tier. After Trae Young, we have Drew Holiday. His 3-point percentage has taken a dip over these last couple of years, but that hasn't stopped him from putting up his career highs, 21.2 points per game, 7.7 assists, and 5 rebounds this season. Not to mention, he's one of the best two-way guards in the league. I'm going to go ahead and put Jrue Holiday in the B tier. Next up, we have Mike Conley. This is actually Mike Conley's best year in the NBA, averaging 21.1 points per game, 6.4 assists, field goal percentage of 44%, and a 3-point percentage of 36%. Even though he is still shooting consistently around his career average, I still don't think he's worth the contract that Memphis signed him to. Note, this does nothing to affect what tier Mike Conley is placed in. He's a solid point guard, so we're going to go ahead and put him in the B tier. After Mike Conley, we have Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is a second-year superstar, averaging 23.8 points per game, improving all over the court, especially his 3-point percentage, which is now at 36%. He's definitely a superstar right now, but I can't wait to see the legend that he turns into in the future. We're going to go ahead and put Donovan Mitchell in the A tier. Alright, next up we have Andre Drummond. Drummond is currently averaging 17.3 points per game, 15.6 rebounds, 1.7 blocks, and 1.7 steals. Andre Drummond proves time and time again that he is one of the best big men in the league, although he does have trouble making his free throws at 59% and stretching the floor. Drummond is an absolute terror on the inside. It's a no-brainer for me. I'm going to go ahead and put Andre Drummond in the A tier. And with that, we are going to wrap things up here with the first 25 of the top 50 NBA players. If you didn't happen to see your favorite NBA player, be sure to tune in to my next video. Odds are he could be in there with the next set of 25 players. This was in no particular order, guys. I was just trying to take some data from each website that I could, like basketballstats.com, ESPN, Bleacher Report. I was trying to combine them all into one list and giving my own opinion as well. Obviously, some players are ranked a bit higher just because of my own choice. With all these top 10, top 25, top 50 lists, there is going to be some of their own opinions in there anyway, leading more towards some players rather than others. But I really did try my best to keep my feelings out of this. So, with that being said, we are going to wrap things up here. Be sure to leave a like, comment down below if you think that I got anything wrong. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel today, and as always, smash that bell button to receive all notifications on my newest uploads. That's going to do it for me, and I will see all of you in my next video.